Northwest is a trip, right? She has been in the news quite a bit for a 10-year-old. But I suppose if your mom is Kim Kardashian and they've been on our reality TV screens for the last almost 20 years, can you imagine? Think about that. There are TV shows that don't go that many seasons, and we have been actively tapped in. Maybe not you. I understand. Not everybody keeps up with the Kardashians, but you kept up with some. And you may not be watching the Hulu show, but we hear about it, right? So, North is a character. We've seen her TikToks. We've heard Kanye be upset about her being on TikTok and these things, but he seems to at least have gotten over it or at least decided to not publicly address it. And North has, I feel like found her little personality type. She seems to really enjoy the performance aspect and getting everybody in and doing TikTok dance, being a normal kid, right? So I think that desire in some ways for normalcy, I stumbled a little bit, but you got it. The desire for a normal childhood might be extending to weekends with dad. So recently, right, on an episode of Keeping Up with I'm sorry, the Kardashians, because it's on Hulu now, not E. The old show was that. Not only did Kim show Northwest eating an onion raw, biting into it like an apple, Kim said that North just likes vegetables and she eats them like that. So I feel like North somewhere secretly has an old black woman in her or something. That seems like a very southern thing to do that you would hear about. But Kim also recently revealed that Northwest has certain feelings about their living situation. So, listen, like I said, Northwest is a character. We've been keeping up with the Kardashians, now just the Kardashians for some time now. And I feel like though North likes, obviously performing, makeup, all of these things, being a true 10-year-old, right? Just having a good time and experimenting, understanding that her parents are very, very famous. We saw her dress up as her dad's graduation bearer on Halloween, amongst several other costumes. And we've also seen her flick off paparazzi. We see now her younger brother, Saint, is doing the same thing. Um, and obviously, they don't know life any other way, but it probably is kind of frustrating as a kid to have to be surrounded by all of that, right? So, Kim on the Kardashians was speaking with Courtney, and she was just saying how North kind of goes in on her about the lifestyle that they lead. So, let's take a listen.
North, she'll go to her dad. She'll be like, Dad is the best. He has it all figured out. He doesn't have a nanny. He doesn't have a chef. He doesn't have security. He lives in an apartment. And she'll start crying. Why don't you have an apartment? I can't believe we don't have an apartment.
So, one, girl, you have a house. Why do you need an apartment? But that's 10-year-old kids. I think one thing, divorce is hard on children, right? It can be. And I think that as a child, sometimes, I know it happened with, like, friends that I had growing up, some of them. Sometimes you glamorize going to your other parent's home because it's almost like a vacation. It gets to be more fun in some ways because you don't have to deal with the day-to-day rules and regulations, right? Two, we know Kanye is Kanye, so obviously he and North were pretty tight, pretty close. And I also feel like that's a little bit of, using the child to kind of manipulate the mom. Obviously, their divorce has been settled or whatever. I think even the financial issues that were still lingering, I think those have been settled as well. But I do think that Kanye still engages in psychological warfare a little bit. So I think there might be some of that going on. And then also, I think because Ye has become a bit of a recluse, he's obviously not filming a reality show. that even though North likes to express herself through TikTok, it probably is a bit of a relief not to have the cameras and all of that around you. And it kind of brings up another topic that people discuss about children celebrities, right? We've seen a lot of kids that were child stars that grow up and crash and burn. We've seen some others that are seemingly well adjusted and things of that nature. But I often wonder what would happen to our entertainment if no one under 18 was allowed to participate in, acting or things like that. Because people are always like, oh, it's so unfair, it's so hard, it's so difficult on the kids. But what if we did something like that? I don't know. I just wonder what North's path is going to be because, on one hand, she's 10, of course. 10-year-olds are going to change their mind 150,000 times, and they don't know. But I really wonder at times if the show and those things are really taking a toll on her or if it's just a kid expressing their feelings.